mystically, permanently beautiful kind of race that are just superior in every way. They're all much more human. The world is generally known in terms of its composition, like this continent's over here, this kingdom's over here, kind of race. But travel between continents is not very common. The seas are very treacherous, and there's quite a lot of animal life beneath the seas. History only extends back maybe 5 or 6 centuries. There seems to be kind of an agreement in the histories of the various areas that there was some sort of cataclysm at that time. And that's really it kind of for the basic description. We've got some kingdoms here and there in various states of rivalries, but the ones that you interact with are only going to be as important as you make them. Where we're picking up, though, is on a boat, or rather on a boat ride, per se. It doesn't quite matter why you all were where you were. You can come up with your own explanations for that if you want, or why you were all going where you were going. The thing that matters is you were all passengers on a ship. You were heading from Reltros on the central continent of Lesend to the city of Imvaris on the eastern continent of Keldum. You can scroll in and zoom in using the slider on the top right of the map. You can also hold down the right mouse button to drag and slide around the map. You can hold down your left click to ping a location. That's generally how you move around. So yeah, this is kind of the extent of travel here. It's a fairly long distance. You're traveling across the Mirror Sea, and why you all were together is kind of up to you. You might all just be passengers. But regardless, midway through the voyage, there was a mishap. Specifically, you were several days from your destination when a very strong storm set in. This forced Captain Valmas to veer further north than he had usually gone before. The night was rough, but there was never any apparent danger from the storm itself, but he decided to steer clear of it. Your route, as I will now draw it.
What is this captain think he's doing? Taking us north? Probably run us aground.
Any ports of the storm, friend Nico? Actually, I don't know you yet. I can't do that. Never mind. Yeah,
you might know each other.
Well,
this is approximately the length of your route before things went south. It seemed the captain had made the right decision, but then just before morning, disaster struck. The Saber, the ship that you were all on, was caught in a dense fog bank, the likes of which the captain had never seen before. And before anything could be done, the ship was ruined. There's no telling exactly what the ship ran into, likely a reef, although some of the deckhands who survived swore they saw something moving in the water with the ship. Regardless, the hull was ruptured and began taking on water, and that was when the island appeared out of the mist and the rocks. And that is where we're going to be picking up as I switch us to our actual map. Probably have to zoom out a little bit.
Tropico.
I was just thinking of Daggerfall.
Guessing this is the shipwreck.
Yeah. Let me get something going here. And just another reminder, if you need to turn down the music volume, that's on the cogwheel.
I'm on the beat going, oh, yes, oh. How
So-
did this captain do?
So I think we'll take like a moment here to set up our
Bonds.
our bonds.
Bonds.
Now that you know exactly where we are, we're not going to take a whole lot of time here. There's if everybody decided to fill out all of them, there would be quite a lot of crisscross. Does anybody? I guess what we should do is get just a very brief introduction from each character. Don't go too far into your backstory. Just tell us who you are and kind of what you're like. And if you want to tell us why you were on the ship, that's fine. And if you have an idea as to who you might have been traveling with, that's another thing. We'll go from left to right on the character sheets, starting with Amras, the Ranger.
Emrys is rank. Some currently traveling on the ship. Share with
Mm. So it'd probably be safe to say that you don't know
no, he's alone.
anybody intentionally on the ship.
Not
You
out.
might have had some interaction that we haven't determined yet, but you're not actually traveling with anyone. All right. Bunko the thief. Tell us why you're here and who you are.
Money. So I'm a out of work geisha. I decided to. Well, my backstory is that I decided to join up with you guys, but I guess that's going to have to change a little bit. But I'm a out of work geisha that's basically looking for more money, and has decided to venture out and just find what I can find. As far as my background, my father was sold both my mom and me to the brothel, and who technically still owns me. My mother was raped and killed by a six-fingered man, and so I'm trying to find this person to find and kill him. That's the short of it.
So not only you're looking for work, but you're looking for revenge, and it sounds like that was on the Eastern Continent.
Yep.
All right, Lunaeus, the Druid. Will you please tell us who you are?
I'm Lunaeus. I'm a druid.
And
Okay.
is there a reason why you're aboard this ship?
Oh, I got tired. I usually travel by albatross, but there was a storm coming, so the ship was a really good way stop.
Hmm. So
And I
so
just
you
kind of
didn't
stayed on
actually-
board the last couple days.
So you didn't actually board the ship with everyone else. You just appeared one day.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty
He's a stowaway.
interesting. We'll
Oh, that's great.
we'll probably come back to that. Nicodemus, the alchemist.
Well, I'm a ratling, so yeah, and I make potions, all kinds of potions. Sometimes they do what they are supposed to do, and sometimes they don't. But well, I was in oh shit, I don't have the other map, so that town we just left, and there was a bit of a misunderstanding about one of my potions. It may or may not have turned someone, added a third arm, when it was supposed to increase their strength. Oh,
You
well,
technically increased their strength.
it technically
worked.
increased their strength, but there was a bit of a disagreement, so I had to get out of there. So this was the quickest way away from there, and yeah, here I am.
Well, it seemed you picked the wrong boat to get on.
That damn captain. I knew he shouldn't have taken the ship north.
Payden the Bard?
Yes, I am Padim, actually, the bard from many different lands. I travel and play in the courts of the kingdoms that we come to from time to time, and I'm traveling just to get to the courts of the eastern continent. I left the last continent in a little bit of a hurry because there was a little disagreement with someone's daughter, as it might be, a little entanglement there.
Didn't see that one coming from the Bard. Regan the Cleric.
Usually, Regan has his cart with his 2 sickly white horses, and he goes around from town to town collecting bodies with, of course, the bring out your dead type thing. He's got a mace that's it's very cube looking, but it can also ring like it has a bell inside, so you can ring it. So he uses it as his bell when he goes through town, but it's inscribed with various runes and such. He also has a lot of right now he's without his cart, but he does have a very large trunk that he's kept with him this entire time.
Yes.
And he also has a bunch of artifacts and various things that don't look exactly too light. And he seems to be probably traveling with Telemon, I would guess.
Yeah, and I'd wager you'd probably have gotten the occasional comment on the smell of that trunk, but we'll delve into that later. I think before we get to Tel, I'll since we just have the 2 returning characters, I'll give a little bit of why they're actually on the ship. They both know this. Telemon had been infected with some sort of very, very nasty disease that had to do with what was known as the Green Dead, and he had to travel to Reltros to seek the services of the wizards there in curing him. And he actually basically had to spend a great amount of money to use their source of power to cure himself. Regan traveled with him. They're companions, and Regan is saddled with the rather unfortunate quest from Death himself to kill Morgath the Devourer. In Reltros, he heard rumor of a great library that may contain some information on how he might defeat Morgath, and they were on their way back to the Eastern Continent when this mishap occurred. So tell us who you are.
I am playing the old wizard, Telemon Darth. Surely you've heard of me. I was going to go in this great spiel about what was going on, but then the star just decided to steal my thunder. So, instead where we are, you may know me from many lore, or you may not. But I have sharp eyes, a very pointed hat, I wear worn robes, and if you could see under them, it'd be a very thin body. I'm never seen without my bag of various books, some of them more useful than others, and we've already been traveling along this horrid boat. You should have seen what they did doing to my robes, no? And then, look, now we're on this beach. What are we to do now, eh?
Thank you, Telemon. All right, so very quickly, look at your bonds on your sheets and see if anybody who's described themselves, remotely looks like they might fill one of those. We'll give everybody a minute to do that, and if people have one that they think will work, we'll make sure the other person thinks that it's also accurate.
I have one. Sounds like it fits in. I have sang songs of Telemon long before even meeting them in person, as I guess I have heard of him, as he said.
Telemon, are you known on the other continents?
But of course I am. I've been around,
Yes,
oh, that sounds like a bond to me.
Alrighty.
I just filled in the one, and I'm thinking I'll fill in the others after the session once I've been given a reason to, if that's okay.
All right. Yeah, that bond with Telemon certainly makes sense. I think that's one that that you had before.
Let's see.
I've got one,
Okay.
but it would fit any of you.
Well,
See, the spirit spoke to me of a great danger that follows. That's why I
up...
rolled the d6.
Oh, so who does it follow?
Bunko.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
It's
Okay,
it's
so
your father is the great danger.
I don't know that that's one that he gets too much input on, but we'll ask Bunko, do you have the feeling that there's some sort of great danger following you?
Well, I did leave the geisha unannounced.
That sounds pretty true to me. You can mark that one down. Linnaeus.
Maybe he was my client.
I've got 2.
All right.
Salamon has an interesting mind and my curiosity. Okay. Pretty straightforward. And I owe Padan a great debt. I see maybe he's the one who found the ship for me. So, get away from there.
How does that sound?
Or Padan, sorry.
Padine, yes. Let's see here. That's which sheet? Let me see.
Nicodemus.
He owes you a great debt, and he's saying that you helped him get out of the city and onto the ship. Does that sound like something you would do?
Sure. Yeah, I could see that happening.
All right.
Out of sheer hilarity, Linnaeus will play an important role in the events to come. I have foreseen it.
God help you for choosing that.
That's actually kind of awesome.
Let's see here.
Mind is
Emrys,
swimming with possibilities.
Emrys, have you come up with anything yet?
No, the descriptions one is
All right.
as time to develop.
Yeah, it should be noted that we'll if you don't have a bond, we'll let you write one in during
I
the
have
session.
suspicions that will.
Okay, I have another one then. Since I've got a tie to Nicodemus, I'll do I am writing a ballad about the adventures of Nicodemus. It's in the very early stages right now. It goes something like, na 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 na, Rat Man.
Okay. Can I fill
All
in
right.
my meets only the basis notions of sentience?
With who?
The guy who just went nah.
If
I'm messing with you. I don't know. Sorry.
Okay. If nobody has any others that they'd like to propose,
I'm just looping it back to Lunius, where Lunius knows incriminating details about me.
How did that one go down?
Yeah, how did that go down?
well, it seems the spirits spoke to him about a great danger that follows Bunko. Perhaps they spoke to him in length, and Bunko is. Maybe you said something on the boat, and Bunko. Maybe you have the hint that Linnaeus knows a little bit more than he should about your previous activities.
He keeps on looking at me strange.
Oh, and I'm gonna keep Rhaegon is keeping an important secret from me from before.
Yeah, he most definitely is.
Yep, that sounds good.
We established that one before, and I still want to see. I don't necessarily want to see that one come to fruition, but I kind of do. It's very funny.
And Bunko, Linnaeus really can't help it.
All right, so if that is where we're going to leave off there, we will begin. Linnaeus.
The boat is wrecked, right? It's just in pieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
As the graphic.
Yeah, it's definitely in pieces. Linnaeus, you wake up floating amidst the waves, only a few feet from shore. When you look down, you see that you are upon the back of a rather large and impressive sea turtle.
Hi, how are you doing?
It looks at you. Could be worse.
Thanks.
He speaks to animals.
Tried.
Of the Sapphire Islands. So, yeah.
I've been a turtle.
So yeah, he basically is depositing you at the beach. He says, "You guys made a mess of the cove." You look around you and you can see bodies everywhere, also washed up upon shore. There's a couple people standing about on the beach. They seem to be trying to get their bearings about them, but everyone is definitely in a sense of disarray right now.
Well, I guess
Is
I'll
the
go check the bodies.
Yeah. Let's see here. You come across a rather odd creature. His fur is damp and matted with sand, and he looks to be alive. It seems to be some sort of ratling, lying in the sand.
Hey, you alive?
Me head. What did that captain do? Did he drink one of my potions? I don't know. Hey, oh, hello.
You hear a voice shouting from up top of the remains of the ship. You there? Is everyone okay?
No, some of them are dead.
You blasted captain, what did you do?
You just see a silhouette right now, and it disappears back down like atop the ship. Around you, a red form rises from the sand, like almost entirely buried. Telemon, you brush yourself off.
It's a
brushing
Sandman! Get back!
Pounds and pounds of sand off of you, and you find yourself standing next to a rather raggedy-looking rat man, and probably the most scraggly-looking old man you have ever seen in your life, and that is saying something.
What happened? It's such a mess. Oh, my robes. What? Oh, this will take months to get out.
Let's take a
Elsewhere,
bath.
Padine, you come to on the ship itself. You are
Amongst the wreckage.
Yeah, you're amongst the wreckage, and nearby you see several bodies floating face down in the water. The last thing you remembered was a large crash, and you have a rather bad headache.
Oh, my head. These people still alive? I go and check them.
They most definitely are not. If they drowned because they were knocked unconscious, it remains to be seen, but they're definitely dead. Somewhere within the lower decks of the ship, you hear a moan.
I'll go down to investigate. And I'll call out. Is anybody alive down there?
You hear like a muffled and you hear kind of like a pounding against wood. You head down the stairs. It's very clear to you that only the front half of the ship is really intact anymore. When you're looking out the back, it looks like the back half is kind of submerged mostly in the water. The noise seems to be coming from the cargo compartment.
It's like a door or something there that's closed?
No, actually there's no door. It's like below decks. There's some netting holding crates and boxes and some chests and barrels.
So it seems to be coming from the actual barrels and boxes and stuff?
It sounded like that direction. You hear like another pounding off to your immediate right. It seems to be coming from a chest. There's kind of a bad odor coming from it.
Oh. we'll open it out of sheer curiosity, if anything else.
Regan, the light is fairly blinding to you as this rather rugged-looking elf pops the lid of your chest.
I'm actually human.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was looking at Amorous. Yes. And yeah, you stretch, like, set up. Your back is killing you for being locked in this trunk for hours. And as soon as this lid is popped open, a rather bad smell is putting it mildly, kind of wafts out.
Oh my gosh, man! What on earth are you doing in there? And what is that smell?
Regan, you're obviously upon the earth, the graveyard soil that you keep with you, and you know what's beneath that. You've been locked in with this stench for quite a while.
I will sit up and thank him immediately and ask him if the captain is dead, if he knows.
I don't know. I just
Dodge
recently
the
came
question.
to.
I will nod just for a moment and ask you if you can help me take my chest outside so we can check on the survivors, or the potential not survivors.
As long as you close it and get rid of that infernal smell.
I think you see a slight glint to his eye when he says perhaps not survivors. But yeah, you help him with his chest and lug it outside. This is a very heavy chest. You can
No.
easily fit one, perhaps two people in there.
I'll assure him that there are non-survivors, as I can point some out on our trip up there.
The rest of you are making your way over towards the hulk of the ship. It seems, kind of like the thing to do. You've come across several members of the crew and other passengers who were both alive and dead. You've helped up several. You're getting right to the boat where lying halfway in and out of the water is a small form in some sort of silken robe. She's face down in the sand. It looks definitely feminine.
Oh, I remember her.
Yeah. Do you guys
Help
go
her out
and-
of the sand? Yeah,
Yeah.
of course I do.
So her hair is an absolute mess, and
Brush her off.
And at first when you go to roll her over, you think she's actually dead. She's covered in this white substance that's run all across the side of her face, and after a few seconds, you determine that it's just her makeup. But
Spirits told me that would happen.
she just appears to be coming out of unconsciousness.
Get your hands off me, you freaking freak.
Yeah, you sit up, Bunko,
Feisty
and
one, GB.
you discover yourself beneath the shade of this looming wreck, and all manner
You
of
look
people
worse
around
than
you.
I do.
Where the hell are we?
That's a good question. A man is kind of making his way down a net from the ship. Off to the side, you see two people. Telemon, you recognize one as Regan, dropping a trunk into the water from a few feet up, and then towing it to shore. And then they make their way over to you.
Talmon will let out a sigh at seeing the chest. Like, would not that have at least have not survived the trip? That would have been quite a blessing, I would say.
It doesn't seem like you're that fortunate.
What's
the,
inside the trunk?
Well, I'm sure you'll find out eventually.
The dark-skinned man climbing down from the ship is recognizable as Captain Valmos, although he's without his hat, and he's got a large kind of gash over his head that looks to have clotted up somewhat. Some of his crew run up, and they all kind of form up around you guys. It appears most of us are all right, but he shakes his head, and He looks kind of mournfully at the bodies scattered across the beach. Would we have made a safer landing?
At least we made a landing at all, Captain. A beach in an unknown beach is certainly much better than the unfavorable sea, eh?
Unknown? Where the hell are we?
We're on an island in the Mirror Sea.
That much is clear, my friend. But he stops and he looks at you and he squints. Have you been making effort to keep out of the captain's eye while you have been stowing away aboard his ship, or have you been strutting your stuff?
Neither. He's just been absentmindedly, I guess, strutting his stuff.
He squints at you, and it seems like he's trying to place you, but he just shakes his head like he has bigger things to worry about right now.
Captain, you must have hit your head.
I honestly don't know where we are. There should not be an island of this size here, but I thought we'd only traveled a few miles north of our intended destination. That storm must have blown us farther than I had thought.
Regan will probably step up and say, "Clearly you're incompetent, then, Captain. What does your first officer have to say?"
The captain looks at you, and he stares at you. The first officer is dead.
I'll go
Oh,
ask him
Raygon. We're on a cursed island, possibly, in the middle of the ocean, and I think now is not the time to be making enemies.
I'm going to go ask him anyway and start heading over towards where he glanced.
All right, so yeah, you head back towards the ship. It's obvious that he had found the remains of the first mate on the ship itself. As you're running off to do so, somebody speaks up. "Captain, I noticed some structures off to the west." And then somebody else speaks up, an older crew member. "Well, that's odd. I noticed what looks to have been a wall of some sort to the northeast. You can see the smoke from here." And sure enough, if you follow his gaze, you can see a small kind of curling of dark gray smoke over the edge of the jungle far off to the northeast.
Nicodemus gets a little bit like, you don't think cannibals? What do you think that do? And he starts scrabbling around looking for like a jar of lantern oil or something.
As soon as you say cannibals, several of the sailors start looking for weapons. They look at their sashes and realize that their sword is now at the bottom of the sea, and somebody picks up a piece of driftwood and just clutches it to their chest. "I ain't getting eaten by no cannibals."
By this time, since I've dropped the cargo that we were carrying probably off on the beach now, I've been checking on my fiddle and have been plucking it to see if it's in tune still. "Oh, don't worry, music will soothe the savage beast."
Yeah, it seems your fiddle has made off well.
Bunko is checking all of the dead bodies for valuables.
Yeah, they seem to have been kind of the poor sort. How are you going about this?
I'm just rolling them over and seeing what they're wearing or whatever, and seeing.
So you roll them over and then you search through their pockets.
Oh, very good, my Lady Bunko. We should, of course, check to see if any of them have survived. It doesn't appear so, but we should be sure. Yes.
Well, I roll them over and they're not moving, so I guess they're dead.
He's not checking for survivors. He's rifling through their pockets. Look.
They don't need it.
Regan will laugh and say, "No, the dead do not need such things."
The
In our
captain
current
speaks up.
situation, it seems to me that valuables will be of little use.
The captain speaks up. "That is a good point, but whatever is salvageable, we need to find, and soon. There's no telling what could be carried out with the tide. Everyone,
Yes.
search.
The rear of the ship does not look to be in good condition, Captain.
We need to
Perhaps we
search.
should take the stores before they get away.
Yes,
We need to find the valuables before they fly off.
we need to search everything in and near the water. But we need to keep an eye out. It seems we're not alone on this island. So
I'll search the water. I'll jump in, yelling, "Form of seal!"
That didn't come through well.
Is that what you said?
I think
I'll
I heard
search
form
for
of
the
seal.
people over on the other side of this guy.
All I heard was form of seal.
It turned into static, so I was like, I'm guessing that's
Linnaeus,
seal.
are you shifting?
Yes.
And what are you shifting into?
And the first roll of the game is made.
A seal.
Okay.
Or sea lion. Or something similar.
I think sea lion is probably appropriate for where you're from. All right, this is a shapeshifter move. When you call upon the spirits to change your shape, roll plus wisdom. So 2d6 plus your wisdom modifier, which looks to be 2. Ooh, that's a nice roll.
Nice, man.
On a 10 plus, hold 3. All right. So yeah, you transform into a seal after you dive beneath the waves. I think you guys see like bubbling and splashing as he disappears. Your moves are
So we just saw this old man go Free Willy.
yeah, pretty much, and then he just disappears and he doesn't come back up. Your
Anyone
moves.
Uncle
else
says
think he
good.
will be of? I'm willing to bet we have the rest of the ship unloaded before he comes back.
As long as he's gone.
Your moves as a sea lion are to escape by swimming swiftly, which will cost you I think 2 hold to put all of your effort into to swimming, and 1 hold to use your great mass and lard to smash into something. That'll be 1 hold. You can just kind of note that somewhere on a piece of paper or something.
Ah, yes, we must unload the ship. I wish to summon an unseen servant to help unload the ship.
What does it look like as you attempt to summon your unseen servant?
There's it's unseen, so there's like a stirring in the air and a bit of, well, I guess you just see a bit of stuff being blown around about it.
All right. Make your
Or seeing
your
things.
spell roll.
8. That's I have to make a choice, I think.
Yep.
So we will go with. I'll forget it. Just do it once.
Okay. All right. So you conjure an invisible construct into thin air, and like I think even though it's invisible, people can kind of tell that there's something there, and they certainly see you doing this. Several of the deckhands kind of scamper back, eyes widening, but they've heard tales of Telamon sung by the bard over the course of the trip, so they're not entirely shocked that you're a mage. And you all go about setting about to help clear the wreckage.
All right, so I'm in the back of the ship, and I'm going to roll discern realities. I look intently about me to see what is worth the most.
Since you have, all right, we'll say you can do this. I will mention that
Well,
discern realities
it's like
has
kind of
been
like floating away, right?
yeah. Discern realities can only be used in tense or charged situations, and it can only be used once per situation. But since you have the threat of this stuff floating away, that's a valid kind of point. Make your discern realities roll to try to see, and tell me how it is that you're failing in this. Are you actually sticking your head underwater and just looking about?
I'm looking about and I'm going. I'm sitting on it, and then like I bump into a stack and it drops onto my head.
Yes. You're looking about, and like you surface in the back of the ship, and you bump your head on this, and you're in the back of the ship rubbing your noggin like, that really hurt. And then you hear kind of a cluttering clash from above you, and you look up and you see that whatever it is you bumped your head with has loosened everything above you, and it all seems to be tumbling down in your direction. Will you make a defy danger roll to
And I
escape?
think I'm going to attempt to like swim quickly out of the way.
Okay, that sounds like dexterity. Defy danger, as in the basic moves. Just to read this out. When you act despite an imminent threat or suffer a calamity, say how you deal with it and roll. If you do with dex, by getting out of the way or acting fast. You rolled an 11, so on a 10 plus, you do what you set out to do. The threat doesn't come to bear. So, fortunately for you, you might have like a goose egg
Who
on your
stacked
head,
this thing anyway?
but you have the reflexes of a ratling, and you dive quickly out of the way. But the back half of the ship is now just filled with debris, and it's falling into the water.
What's the captain doing at this time?
He's helping with salvaging everything, and I think you all are able to basically salvage kind of the necessities. A lot of the cargo is in the forward half. That doesn't seem to be too urgent. From some of the bodies, you find some basics, some rations, the occasional knife here or there, some rope. Let me roll.
Does anybody appear to be injured in some kind of way? Crew or people around?
There are a few people with some injuries, but anybody who had a life-threatening injury is pretty much already dead. It would help if they were tended to, but they're not urgent right now. During the course of the salvage of the ship, everybody's going about this, and eventually you start to stack this stuff up either on the beach near the ship or in the front. Bunko, you come across 20 coin. You manage to kind of filter that from the pockets of everybody there.
All right.
I will be playing music to aid in the speedy stacking of the cargo that they're trying to gather.
Okay.
Give like a nice little tune that has an upbeat sound.
All right.
I would do arcane art into it for any injuries, but it doesn't seem like anybody's like needs to be healed, or because I could do that in there.
You could do one, and we'll say that'll heal the worst off. Maybe he has like a broken arm.
That is a charisma roll. Yay.
Alright, on 9, your spell still works, but you draw unwanted attention or your magic reverberates to other targets affecting them as well. You know what? You actually heal 2. Roll 1d8. Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
So both of
Nice
these
roll,
guys are healed to the max. They're very surprised by this as they listen to this soothing melody.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship.
Oh God.
So maybe it's not quite as soothing as we thought. Several hours pass, and over the course of this, you anybody who we're going to do 2 things here. Who has the highest wisdom score?
Oh, it's not me.
Probably
I think
a bunch of
there's
16s.
several 16s, yeah, including me.
Right, so that's Emrys, Bunko,
I am as
Luneus,
well.
We have 4 16s.
Wow.
Luneus, and Regan. All right. The 4 of you, over the course of these couple hours, kind of notice an odd glint from just kind of over the canopy of the forest. It seems fairly far away, and you never really quite catch exactly what it is, but all four of you at one point or another kind of notice this individually, that there just seems to be something off in the jungle that's reflecting light or something. Maybe you're hallucinating. You did have a shipwreck, but I don't know. You all notice that.
As the sun goes down, I'm going to hold my mace aloft again, and
We're not near sundown.
oh,
Just yet.
I'm sorry. My bad. I thought it was dark already.
No, it's just been a few hours. Notably, we started off in the morning. So we're kind of approaching early noon ish.
Excellent.
Anybody who can use magic, you all sense that there is a great magical power coming from deep within the jungle, specifically off to the north ish. Like it's hard to determine exact direction, but like deep within the jungle. It's a very, very strong presence, and anybody capable of using magic is aware of this after some time.
Indeed. Does not seem to be your typical island we have landed upon, my friends. Whether it is for good or ill, I do not know.
Perhaps we should investigate. Could be great wishes.
I will consult my bardic lore for this location for the Great Jungle Magic Island. To ask the GM a question about it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
What kind of magic might we be facing?
Now let's read your move here, so everybody knows what you're doing.
Yep, it's bardic lore.
When you first encounter an important creature, location, or item, your call, covered by your bardic lore, you can ask the GM any one question about it. The GM will answer truthfully. The GM may then ask what tale, song, or legend you heard that in. Your area of expertise is legends of heroes past.
Yes, so this would be like a Ulysses type hero that had traveled to islands in the past.
Yeah,
That's a really cool way to do it, by the way, man. I like that lore choice.
Yeah, it's kind of a catch-all, but I figured it'd be a 1/6 chance, if anything. So, if anything, if you want to roll a d6, you could.
You know quite a few tales of heroes being shipwrecked in the Mirror Sea, on various islands, and you know some of them were shipwrecked by monsters. Some of them ended up on islands with jungles filled with like ravenous flesh-eating insects. Some of them ended up on islands with great lost civilizations, like the ruins of them. Some ended up on islands with cannibalistic natives. Some even ended up on islands populated purely by trolls.
Alrighty. So,
Well, that doesn't sound good.
yes, I share this with the group that...
Perhaps have you heard any stories of positive creatures being on islands, Padan?
Positive creatures don't really make it into a lot of the songs and tales from shipwreck stories, but there are a couple.
Very true. So, I think as you kind of all gathered your gear, you've managed to get everything that you had stowed aboard the ship. The captain approaches you, kind of away from the rest of the crew and the few remaining passengers. The ones that survived seem to be in very poor spirits. If we're to survive here, we need to find out who else is on this island, and if they have a means of getting off of it. Perhaps this is Asara. We don't know what island we're on. It might be more civilized than we think. Would any of you be willing to go and see what is up the beach? So the sea lion just comes up the beach, and it has a great flowing beard from the bottom of its jaw, like all the way down its belly.
I look at the sea lion with interest, thinking, "Oh, that's an interesting evolutionary facet."
And it waves a flipper to volunteer.
The captain is just kind of staring, not saying much.
Well,
He-
we did see the old man turn into a sea lion.
you saw
Well,
him jump into the sea.
Oh, okay.
And the sea lion would be trying to bring stuff up this whole time.
That scraggly beard does seem to be familiar.
The captain just shakes his head. He's like, bloody magics. Anyway, are there any of you who wish to volunteer? I can't ask the other passengers.
I would
They're
of
not.
course go, Captain, but there were 2 settlements, were there not?
That's what the men say, but I don't know. Ricky has never been one for the keen eyes. That settlement off to the west might have just been an illusion. You can see that smoke off to the east, though.
Yes,
We
and I
should,
would
of course,
think with
take
a
the
wall.
more definite solution. It is growing into the afternoon, and we should be back before dark.
And I would think with a wall, they would know how to build other things like boats and such.
We haven't heard anything about a wall, have we? Just smoke.
Yeah, no, somebody said a wall to the northeast.
Yeah, they thought they saw some sort of walled encampment to the northeast.
Because I thought King Kong when that was said, but
Between finishing burying all of the dead that washed up on the beach, I'll have to point out that settlements don't build walls unless there's threats.
And at that, I start scrambling around looking for a bottle of lantern oil or something to make bombs out of.
So you're trying to salvage some materials from the ship to make some bombs, eh?
Yes. I'm thinking, like, Molotov cocktail style.
Yeah, that works. Let's get that roll from you, I think.
You blunder across a keg with 3 gigantic X's on it.
Ooh, that's a good roll. When you spend time performing delicate procedures and filling things with volatile substances, roll int. You create bombs near area, 1 ammo, 1 piercing, and 2 of forceful,
Messy fire, I was thinking.
Okay. Messy fire. That sounds good. On a 10 plus, choose 3. What are you choosing?
Probably ammo stable, but
All right, so you have. Let's see here. That gives you 3 ammo and stable, correct? 3 ammo total.
yes.
All right. Yeah, keep track of those. You can put them down on your inventory.
Yep.
And the captain assures you guys that that he'll have the men put to work trying to establish some sort of encampment for the time being. It might be on the beach. It might be in the ship. They haven't really decided yet. So, are all of you setting out? It sounds like to the east. Did anybody want to go west? The
I'll do
jungle.
both.
Oh boy.
I'll turn human. And I'll say,
Before we depart, go ahead. Sorry, I had a little bit of lag there.
I'll go see what's in both places. Form of seagull.
All right, so you shapeshift back into a human, and we see a scene of everybody just staring at you, and then you make your shapeshifting roll to turn into a seagull. 9.
Oh,
I
2,
think that's
I think.
1. Yeah, is that 2 or 1? Somebody's
2.
mic is open.
Get 1 on a fail.
Okay, yeah, hold 2. You can fly. For 1 hold, you can dive down and scoop up fish and consume them. And God, I can't. Let's see here. And for another one, you can fly very, very high in an attempt to escape anything that is attacking you. Which settlement are you trying to go to first? It should be noted this is going to take you some time.
I'll be going west first.
Okay, so you guys see the seagull just disappear off to the west.
And you can tell it's different from the others because it's trailing a beard.
Yep. A bearded seagull.
Well, it does seem that he will be checking on that supposed settlement. What say will the rest of us check on the east one?
At that point, my owl takes flight and to the other settlement. Explore.
All right, so your owl definitely can do that. It doesn't, unless Ludeus slows a bit. Your owl will probably take a little bit longer in getting there.
I'm saying it's going to the opposite side.
Yeah,
Opposite Luna.
the eastern one that you guys are all heading to then.
Yeah, he's scouting
Okay.
ahead.
All right, that works. And you're telling him to
Yeah, since
to
I don't
to
have
scout?
to speak, he just understands.
Yeah.
Have we checked? Rolled over and made sure everybody's still alive.
Yeah, you guys went
I
through the
believe you
bodies.
were most thorough, Missy. I saw those coins.
What coins?
Okay. I still remember that, but alright. Maybe we should head out to the eastern settlement before it gets dark.
Yeah,
I
so
think Regan is going to have to do something before we leave, of course.
what do you do? It sounds like you're the last person with something to do.
After I finished burying the dead, I'm going to go over to my my coffin and then I'll motion to Telemon and tell him to keep the others calm.
The trunk?
Yep. And then I'm going to open it up and reach my hand in the soil and close my eyes and start whispering my magic down into the dirt.
Is
Oh,
this man
boy.
a druid also?
You
Let's
wish.
see
He
how
does
it happens
interesting
here.
things with dirt.
Oh, here he goes again.
You don't want to know what's in that chest.
What the hell is he doing?
So, let me see, I have to roll 1d4, I think.
First,
Okay,
I thought there
hold
was
on a
something
second.
valuable.
Never
in
had
there.
really good luck with that spell.
No, he doesn't.
I never do. 1 second, I'll tell
It's
you.
better than the one you rolled on every time before.
You rolled an 8, so you got to choose one of the 7 to 9 options first.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I lost my freaking PDF file, so I was trying to figure out what I needed, which options I could
Draw
pick.
unwelcome attention, or put yourself in a spot. Take -1 ongoing, or forget it.
I'll throw unwanted attention. I think scaring the crap out of everyone here would be pretty amusing.
Okay, that's an interesting choice. And you rolled a 2.
Yep, that's what I'm trying to find right now, what my options are for that. I'm actually getting the PDF back up right
Friend
now.
Dragon is an interesting cleric. Some clerics like to keep the people alive. Rhaegon prefers to just recruit them after they die.
He has dead bodies in there?
So,
I do not believe it is a person, per se, but it was a particularly vile creature the last place we were at. I would guess it is probably that.
Regan, did you get your PDF up?
That
Yeah, I just
explains
got
the
it up
smell.
just now. Put it down there right this second, and I'll tell you what it is. Okay, I'm going to choose it's durable, and it's talented, and I'll give it stat modifier to, I guess it's strength.
Okay, alright. Make sure you know all that stuff. So, from within this foul-smelling trunk lying on the beach, as Regan, do you do anything aside from chant and stick your hand in there? Do you do anything with your mace spell? or is this like as simple as it sounds?
You know what? In this case, I think it's going to be as simple as reaching my hand into the dirt, but I'm actually plunging it inside the creature to take it over. But...
So from within this this trunk, covered in graveyard soil, a couple worms, emerges a hand. A preternaturally long hand rises from the trunk and sticks straight up, and many all the crew members who are nearby jump back and begin cursing as this extremely tall, lanky, like mottled, grayish, dark-skinned thing emerges from the box. It has no eyes. It has a unbelievably wide mouth filled with sharp, razor-like teeth. And as soon as it rises out of the box, it goes down to all fours, and its limbs stick out at straight angles from its sides. It is very unnatural looking. Its limbs are perhaps 3 feet long in each of them, and like if this thing was to stand upright, it would at least be 7 or 8 feet tall.
Necromancer, this one, huh?
Regan will declare that this one's a climber, and we are going into the jungle. It'll be quite a useful ally.
Several of the nearby crew members are pointing and shouting. The captain has come running. What's going on? But like they're now brandishing clubs. One of them has a saber, and they're all just kind of lined up, like all looking terrified. And like they're just pointing their weapons at it. It's a monster, sir.
I'm getting ready to attack it.
Quick, we must kill it before it kills the wizard.
I do believe there's not any problem with that. Friend Regan has it somewhat under control.
As you're making this statement, one of the crew members, the one who actually had kind of the guts to speak up, charges forward with a club in hand, and then another one follows him, both charging the creature.
Probably going to offer.
I'm just going to stand back, and watch this happen.
Oh,
yeah.
I wouldn't do that. Comment.
Let's see here.
Yeah, this will be interesting.
Regan, how does your creature work in terms of commands? It's been a while since we did this.
It doesn't have the complex task option.
Well, under your raised dead, you can basically command it to do things.
Yep, to the best of its limited abilities.
These guys are not attacking you; they're attacking your creature. Are you basically going to let it act upon instinct?
I'm probably going to try to see if I can convince them to stop. I'll be trying to ask them to stand back. But if they're not going to do that, then well, he's gonna have to rip some people up because he's not the complex task guy. He's pretty dumb.
All right, so the first guy charges in, and it seems like the creature is looking to you for guidance until this thing smacks it straight in the arm, and you hear kind of like a bone crunch beneath its partially rotted flesh. Your creature takes, let's see here, 1 damage.
Thank God. Could have killed it easy.
And I assume it attacks in response. What is its damage?
Let me tell you 1 second. It has claws. I don't know if that figures in. 1 second.
It certainly will. I think it uses... Does it use your damage dice, or does it say?
No, I think it says it uses my damage dice. I'm checking right now.
I think before we said it uses whatever the base creature's damage dice was.
Yeah, didn't I?
As a +1 modifier to all stats, it'd be +3 hit. Okay, and yeah, I guess it just follows my damage dice, maybe. I think that's what we were doing with it before.
I don't think so. Let me look up the specific creature real quick. Is anybody else doing anything while this is happening? By the
I'm
way,
just watching.
Bunko is.
I have my weapons drawn, ready to attack it if it starts to move in my direction.
Yeah,
okay.
I am not comforted by this unnatural thing. Also readied my... Well, close am I to this thing? Feet or...
You could be feet if you want.
Okay, I've got my bow ready and
Does-
strong.
Does my bardic lore let me know of anything of this?
Notably, if the creature lands a solid attack, I'm going to try to get between the group and the creature, and kind of try and break it up, command
Alright.
the creature to
Note
stop.
this, Regan, your creature has a base damage of D10, and don't forget that it has 2 armor.
Oh, nice, got it.
I gave you a bunch of information about it last time. I guess you didn't write it down.
I didn't get. I think it got wiped when I moved the sheet.
Okay.
Sorry about that, man.
D10, 2 armor. We're gonna let HP be determined by what you roll. Close reach. And it is stealthy and intelligent. So, oh god,
This guy in half.
that's what happens. We watch as this thing takes a blow to the shoulder. Like, imagine the Terminator. Somebody runs up and hits Arnold with a tire iron or something, and he just barely notices. Then he just backhands them with these tremendous claws and just disembowels the sailor right into the sand. He stands there, his mouth agape, and he looks down, and all of his entrails are now in the sand, and he just collapses. The captain looks at this, and he draws his own weapon and he charges. He's men to arms, and he attacks this thing.
Are we attacking it or not?
Well,
I'm going to keep trying to get people to. I'm going to try to make the creature
it's a
back
bit
off.
late
Like
for that now, Raycon. I wish to put your piece down once and for all.
Oh god.
Your beast takes another 5 damage, Regan, as the captain slices at it. Roll its. Oh wait, no, I
HP.
gotta do 2d6 here. No, actually, I don't.
Oh,
roll.
that's down to 1 hit point
Attack.
then with the armor
Roll-
figured in.
Roll 2d6 for roll its attack separately. Six. Okay. Yeah, it takes. This is not. Okay. All right. Not sure what that was.
That was me, sorry.
This is not looking good, Regan. Your creature. How much health does it have now?
1 hit point.
1.
Yeah.
It's looking like it's about to drop, and the crew is starting to surround it and consequently you. Although only a couple of them seem to know that you had anything to do with this. Like, they were only standing nearby, and they're the ones that did see you raise this thing are looking at you with wary eyes and weapons raised.
I know exactly what I'm going to have to do then.
Everybody else, this situation is definitely getting out of hand. Is anybody going to step in?
I wish to magic missile his creature to put it down.
All right, roll your spell cast.
By the way of the arcane bolts. 10.
All right,
Nice.
roll thy damage.
Oh, yep, you nailed it. I was going to
So-
actually jump up. Got
Your
it.
bolt strikes it in the chest, and this thing just explodes outwards,
Yeah.
spraying Regan and the 2 nearest sailors and the captain. And then the sailors turn to you, Regan. It was him, Captain. He is a foul necromancer. What do you say, man? But he's looking about like he obviously didn't see this, but he is very. This is a very charged, tense situation. Regan, how are you responding to all this?
I'm going to insist that I'm not foul, and I was trying to assist them if they had their small brains go along those kinds of lines, and you're trying to talk them down. Though I might be ready to use a cause fear if they decide to push it.
Two of them start to move towards you, but the captain holds them back. What is the truth of this? He looks to Telemon and consequently the rest of you, trying to see what actually happened.
I'm yelling to lock him up.
Captain, I know not what this is about, but this is not really the time for this type of thing. I mean, there could be cannibals. We don't know. We need to check out this other settlement or something.
The cleric is a danger to everybody here. Lock him up.
The crew members definitely do not. They're looking pretty panicked, looking from the captain to Regan to the halfling, saying to lock him up.
The unnaturalness of the undead is more breath than any supposed cannibals.
I'm going to laugh at Bunko's direction and say that you're going to listen to a thief you saw rolling your corpses for their gold to lock me up.
They kept a couple of their eyes looking over back at Bunko. The captain, meanwhile, is just trying to shout and calm them down, but he is very quickly losing control of the situation. It seems perhaps that you guys should leave. Are you guys heading up the beach? It doesn't look like he's going to be able to hold them back.
Cleric.
I think I'm going to be following the main group here.
All right, so it sounds like everybody but Bunko is heading up the beach to the east.
I'm not following this guy.
All right, so the ranger is staying back as well.
I was ready to shoot the thing before someone else be killed.
All right.
And only another second, I would have actually put it down myself.
All right,
A little
so
late for that, Raygon.
the group splits up, and Amris and Bunko, you're left with the grumbling crew members and the remaining passengers as you watch the I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of you now heading off to the east, kind of disappearing off into the distance. It seems like you've narrowly averted disaster.
What is to the north of us? Is it just thick jungle or something?
As far as you can see, it is jungle. You're at a low elevation, so you can't see anything past the jungle in front of you.
All right. I just head towards the beginning of the jungle, just get a shady spot, and I'm just gonna wait till the quack comes back to tell us what's going on the west side.
Well, it's funny that you should mention Linnaeus, because we changed scene and we see this bearded gull flying high over the coastline. It's been perhaps an hour, and you've lost sight of the wreck, and you're now coming into sight of what appears to be some sort of island to the west of the crash. You can immediately see some low-hanging smoke and some buildings that let you know that this is indeed inhabited. It seems to be some sort of small encampment, but it has a high wall. It appears to be very well placed in terms of fortifications. It has a single small bridge connecting it to the main island, and it has, as you approach, you can more clearly see several watchtowers actually floating out in the water. What do you do, Linnaeus?
Fly closer. I want to see who's living there.
All right, so you eventually get to this encampment, and as you get closer, you see the silhouette, distinctive silhouette of men, and the occasional smaller form of maybe a halfling. It's hard to tell from the air, but you eventually kind of circle the encampment. You see there's a few small boats tied up at a dock here, but these appear to be dinghies, like some sort of craft left over from a wreck, perhaps. And this is further kind of solidified by the fact that several of the buildings here seem to be made from the hulls of ships. One in particular looks to be most of a hull kind of turned over and made into a like a longhouse. You land next to several other gulls on one of the walls, and view the scene beneath you. There seems to be quite a few of them here, perhaps 20 or more, maybe 30. They're all dressed in rather ragged garments. They look like this camp looks like it's been here quite a while. You see a few races, but it's predominantly human. And these definitely look to be, kind of the rough survivor-ish sort.
There's only one main thing I was really interested in after this. Do they have any open camp cook fires?
Yeah, they definitely have some fires in the camp with some things kind of cooking over them. I think you smell, since you're from the islands yourself, you smell kind of the distinctive smell of roasting boar.
Okay, good. I was just worried they were cannibals, since someone mentioned it.
Nope, you don't see any sign of cannibalism here. You see a couple cages. One of them inside is a person, but these people are all clothed, and they appear to be at least somewhat civilized.
Okay, I will fly back to the east then.
All right. So we pick up with the four that ventured eastward, and tell me exactly what you guys are doing. You've made it out of view of the ship. Are you heading all the way off to the to the east to try to explore what this potential camp is, or do you guys stop and try to hash out what exactly happened back there?
I was saying I was gonna go far enough to the east, like to the edge of the woods where the ship couldn't see us.
Mhm.
Well, that could have gone better. Do you always summon things within sight of ships and people who will attack you, probably? You have to have a little more tact than that. Three guns here, right?
Regon.
Hey, sorry, my headset completely scrambled there. What did you say last?
Do you always summon things within sight of humans? They tend to react badly.
Yes,
Romancer.
Regan's going to shake his head and agree with him. And yes, that they tend to be very small-minded creatures indeed. However, I've had much better luck with the Ratling people. I will comment and ask what kind of magic that Nicodemus is into with his potions. He's done any. Have you done any work with the reanimation in your time?
No. It's quite hard to get the corpse to drink a potion, so to speak.
So while they're having this conversation, Padine, I'm kind of curious as to what you're thinking of this group that you're now with.
Well, I'm pretty much attached to Nicodemus, just out of trying to get an idea of him and his travels, I'll ask him. So, Great Nicodemus, why did you not use your bomb on the terrifying creature on the beach?
Well, it is a firebomb, and there is a lot of wood nearby. We might need that for a shelter. I did not want to burn down what would have been our shelter. Rolls eyes at Regon, but I think our necromancer friend here might have fucked that one up.
Yes, very wise to not burn everything. Could have caused even more chaos and panic, I guess.
So, cutting back to the ship. Let's see here. Amrus and Bunko. Bunko, you said you're leaning up against a tree at the edge of the jungle. Amrus, what are you doing? This seems to have gone very wrong. It seems there's now a split amongst the survivors, and who knows if they'll come back or not, or if they would be let back.
At the moment, I'm waiting for my owl to communicate as it can as to what I found.
Yeah, you would know that it's going to take quite a while for it to get there and then get back.
That's what I think. Otherwise, I am just basically trying to prepare to survive for the evening, as staying here. We haven't heard back from our druid friend, and the party with the unnatural necromancer is gone off in the direction of the village.
So, are you making any sort of talk with the captain, like trying to find out exactly what the state of the camp is, in terms of the situation that occurred, or are you just content to just kind of see how things play out?
I'm content to see how things play out. The camp appears to have already salvaged what we needed, and at the moment we're stuck here on this part of the beach until we hear back from our scouts. That's how I look at it. I'm patient, waiting, because present danger.
All right. So eventually, if Bunko's gonna wait at the edge of the forest the entire time and just relax and try to regain her composure from the crash, eventually a few hours pass and the oddly bearded seagull returns, circling over the ship once and then landing. Assume you turn back into druid form, Linnaeus?
Yes.
So Linnaeus appears
people.
in front of you.
There's an armed and fortified, that's the word, fortified island off of the island to the west, and it's got humans and halflings in it.
So you're telling everything you've seen, kind of in an excited fashion, like who wouldn't want to hear this stuff? And all of the crew members
as a seagull.
No, he landed and turned back.
What did he? Sorry, I missed that.
All the crew members are staring at you, after you've appeared back in your form. There seems to be a very uneasy tension amongst the camp. You see an additional grave now being dug. It seems like one of the crew members who was actually alive before, and there's like this now rotting heap of flesh well off the edge of the camp, and it seems as though half of the surviving passengers are not here anymore. You get the distinct impression that something has happened in your absence, and people are looking at you warily, Linnaeus.
I'm looking at them kind of warily, giving them a one eye bigger than the other one look at him, going, The
captain approaches you, and it says, I recommend that you don't use any magic in front of the men right now. I'm having a hard enough time keeping them under control as it is without what
Not a
happened
problem.
before.
Not a problem. I don't use any magic.
Did they look friendly?
So Blanco comes from the edge of the trees. She's managed to get her hair into reasonable fashion, and it kind of slinks into camp. Half of the sailors kind of notice, like they look up and their eyes sort of wander and they just stop what they're doing.
Did they look friendly over there in the island? I'm talking to you, you quack.
Lunius?
Oh, you're talking to me? But I'm
yeah,
not a
she's
duck right
talking
now.
to you, old man.
I didn't talk to them. They could be friendly.
You can see like a bunch of dead people around.
No human
Oh, I
sacrifices.
did look. They have no dead people in their cook fires.
Hey, that's
All right. So let's go that way then, I guess.
Hold on, young lady. The captain, approaches, looking a little bit concerned. Between all of you now, kind of talking about leaving camp. It is definitely close to sunset now. Like you can see the sun starting to sink beneath the horizon. What you do is certainly your own concern, but it's about to be nightfall soon, and who knows what is in this jungle. I think we should stay together, but wouldn't you at least rather stay until morning?
How long is it, you quack?
It took him like an hour and a half by air. If you were to estimate Linnaeus, you'd think it would be
An hour and a half.
he
An hour and
tells
a half
you,
only?
he tells you an hour and a half.
That's how long I was gone, right?
that's how long it took you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So what?
3
That's
hours long.
1, 2, 3? Really?
3 hours of walking? I don't understand your math here.
Me neither.
So from what he's telling you, it sounds like you might be able to make it there in time for nightfall. If the old crazy guy is to be believed.
The old crazy guy's having trouble adding 1.5 to 1.5.
I look at Armis. What do you think?
I think it's probably best to approach a settlement. Not wish to strike alarm at first sighting.
Well, where am I supposed to sleep at night then?
We've
Worked.
managed to clear out most of what remains of the bottom deck and the middle deck from the ship. We can, unfortunately, we have room for all of the people we have now. So you're welcome to stay aboard.
Star, at what distance do I lose contact with
There's not really an established distance. It's not. You're not seeing through its eyes.
Obviously.
You can kind of communicate feelings. Like if you were in distress, you could tell it to come back. If it's in distress, it can kind of
Right.
let you know
It
that.
can let me know it got there, that type of thing.
Yeah, that's basically it.
That's what I was trying to see. Is it by now? Would it have at least it had arrived? I mean, we're
You're
talking
getting
3 to 4 hours.
yeah, you're getting
long
kind of like an unsure sort of like it's a little confused. Like it's you directed it to a place that you had never seen, it had never seen. You only had heard a vague description of, and you had only given it vague directions of. So like you're getting kind of a mission accomplished from him, but he that's it's not totally like 100%. Like you can tell it's wondering like, is this where I'm supposed to go?
Okay. So, because I thought our description was to the north line, basically where the circle is.
Yeah.
That's where I thought it would have been. That's where I sent it to.
Yeah, but you haven't seen it yourself, and you were only giving it like to the northeast. Like how far to the northeast? Nobody really described it in hours by flight or anything. So
Yeah, but I definitely would have told it to.
yeah, so it's there. It doesn't seem to be like you can take that as how you will. No distress or anything. It doesn't seem particularly victorious. On the other hand, do you tell it to come back?
I basically just tell it to examine what it sees there and come back.
All right. So you kind of send that feeling to it, and 10 minutes later or so, you get the impression that it's returning home, returning to you.
Okay. I
So-
also give it the idea to keep an eye out for the other four on its way back. They are,
Yeah.
if it flies over them. Not to stop, just to get an idea of where they might be.
Yeah. So to the party that's heading east. You guys are sticking to the beach. Or are you heading along? I know Akron had mentioned something about the jungle.
You mean Regan?
Yeah, Regan.
Yeah, I think that we should probably stay a little off the beach so we're not, walking targets in the clear open, though.
But
It's
you're kind of
perhaps the
sticking
edge
a
of the
little
jungle.
close.
I don't know what cover you expect, Regan. You've already ruined a lot of this for us so far.
Regan's going to shake his head.
I told you that base would cause trouble, but you insisted upon keeping it.
So
I'll sigh and thought they would appreciate the help I could provide them.
over the next kind of rise, you see you have to squint in order to make it out, but you see like an odd shape in the sky. After a few moments, you recognize it to be the ranger's owl. It's flying high overhead. It seems to be coming from the direction that you were headed, and it just flies straight overhead, and it's heading back the way you came.
I wave at it and say, "Oh, look, it's a bird. The owl." That's
My old
ranger
eyes
had.
may be failing me, but I believe that was Amros's owl. What he expects to learn from it is yet to be seen. Perhaps he can talk to it. Don't know yet.
I believe elves can speak with animals sometimes, especially animals they have close bonds with. Maybe we should head back and see what that owl saw.
I
You
think
are
our odds
notably
of heading back peacefully are not good.
you are notably like 3 hours away from where you were.
Oh, we've been walking the entire time?
Yeah,
Never mind.
you didn't
Is it
say
dark, by
that
the way?
you stopped to.
I thought
stopped
we
to
went
do
a little
anything.
ways away and then stopped.
Yeah, but you stopped there for 3 hours doing nothing. Like I described this whole 3-hour journey for the
I expected
Seagull.
to be kept going myself, personally.
Oh, okay. Alrighty, I
Well,
thought we'd gone
they
out there and stopped.
made camp out of
He asked
eyesight,
us,
so-
and we did not say yay or nay, so...
True.
Where are we right now exactly then? Like here or so?
yeah, that's actually a pretty good ping. You're actually. Oh,
Ah.
why is it?
The big red mark right there.
Well,
Okay,
I didn't mean to draw that, but that's where you are.
that's perfect.
Alrighty. So I don't
And-
say anything about the going back.
And you can
just
you can
talking.
definitely see sign of like smoke from over the distance, like that you would expect from a village, and maybe on the very farthest part of your eyesight, you see like a structure on top of a low hill. Do you guys make your way there? It seems like it seems like you can get there right as evening is coming to a close and nightfall is setting in.
Telemon, do you think we should go through the jungle and get a good look at this place before we approach?
Perhaps
But I do
we
not
should
think
camp for the night.
I personally do not relish the idea of approaching a unknown settlement at night on a possibly dangerous island in the middle of the ocean. My previous experiences have led me to believe that walled guards are not particularly kind when it comes to nightfall.
I would also
Especially when one wants to enter at nightfall.
I would also think we'd want to approach from the beach end, as it's more likely there are traps for animals or unwanted visitors in the jungle than on the beach.
A good point, Amrys, though I will never understand the bias towards night.
So it sounds like you're going to make camp for the evening. Where are you making camp? Are you making camp on the beach? Are you making camp
On the edge of the woods.
on the edge of the jungle?
Yeah, I would want to do that.
I don't relish putting our camp next to the ocean when the tide rises.
All right. And the rest of you back at the ship, you're staking out in the ship?
Yes.
Okay.
I demanded to be shown where my bunk is.
Linnaeus?
What happened to everyone else while I was gone?
Ah. I think he's a cleric. Doesn't act like I've ever encountered. Reached over to his mysterious chest with the foul odor and mumbled some words I could not catch, and out of it came some obviously undead creature. And basically, naturally, this frightened some of the crew. One of them attacked it, and it disemboweled him. And then Telmon the wizard needed to put him down, and the rest of them left because of the crew, and as well as Bunko and myself were rather nervous, shall we say.
The guy's more of a quack than you.
Yeah, I do not consider. You're obviously a friend of nature. That undead.
Telemon put down the sailor that attacked the creature? So Telemon put down the sailor that got hurt?
No. The creature put down, disemboweled sailor. Telmon put down the creature that on the cleric. Conjure.
You guys explained what happened accurately. We'll say that. So night falls, and this is going to be fairly unique. We're going to have to make some rolls in two separate places, but we are equipped to do this. If you make camp in a safe place, which I don't think the ship necessarily counts as. It's certainly safer than camping out in the middle of nowhere, but I don't think it's totally safe. Consume a ration. So everybody, both parties are making camp separately. So everybody consume one ration. You can decide a watch order if you think it is necessary. If you don't, then no watch will occur. It should be noted that if you are at the ship, you don't have to take watch. It's like there will be somebody on watch from the crew. It's just that you will not have a chance to affect an outcome if something occurred there in terms of a watch roll. So let's get choices from the ship first. Is anybody staying up on watch?
I'll stay up.
I'm having the crew do their job.
As they should. All right, so Amrys, you are taking some sort of watch during the night, like a couple hours.
At least, yes. Plus, I figure my owls.
Yeah. You have to wait a little while. He comes back in the dead of night. I assume you're probably taking watch up on like the forecastle, kind of a good sniper's post.
That sounds proper.
And several hours later, he kind of flutters over to your arm during your watch as you're doing that. All right, so you're on watch for the ship.
Now that he's back, what type of... I mean, I know I can't talk necessarily to my animal at this point. What can he tell me?
You get the
Questions
feeling of civilization, at least according to an owl. Like the same feeling you get when you travel to a small village, and that there were like people there. You can't tell like what sort of people, but he wasn't getting like... You will get a different feeling if you flew over a castle and saw soldiers as opposed to like a small village. So you're getting basically the feeling that, you know, he encountered some sort of normal place.
normal human settlement.
Well, human is not something that you can determine from feeling. But
Normal, sentient.
yeah. No distress or anything. You also get the like a feeling that he passed the other party on the way there. So that's for... We're going to call the group at the ship party number 1. And party number 2, who is staying up on watch?
Of course, I'm like, I dig around in my bag a bit and I put out this large beaker and I upend it on the ground and this green blob with a mushroom cap comes out.
What is that?
This is Snorn. Minion number 1.
Oh
It
god,
look-
not another one.
It looks at you with like black kind of beady eyes within its gelatinous kind of form.
And I pick it up and I set it on a log and command it to guard.
It literally just, wherever he places it, it just stays there. Like he's just stuck it there. And if you continue to just kind of stare at him in like wonderment, a slight like corner will form in his ooze, and he, like, you get the impression that he almost kind of waves at you just for a second.
That's a bit of an odd one, Nico. Are you sure it's alive?
Oh, it is very much animate.
And it just-
Alive, I don't know if I would call it
It
animate.
kind of blinks. So your creature is going to be up the entire time. What did you say his name was?
Sporn.
You're breaking up when you start that.
Spourn.
Born.
Sporn.
Okay.
Regan's going to ask if it was alive once or if he animated it from raw material.
This one is from raw material.
Very
So is
impressive.
anybody else staying up on watch?
I'll actually...
I would
Take-
kind of assume we all take a shift, unless somebody
Okay.
who says otherwise.
Does anybody
Yeah.
not stay up on watch?
I'll take a shift.
Does anybody
I will,
care about the order?
I specifically want to take either second or third watch so I can pray to my deity and switch a spell for detect alignment.
I'll go for first.
Okay,
I can
so
work on my
we've
music
got
a little bit.
Padine, then we've got Regan, then we've got Tell, then we have Nicodemus.
/ Sporn. Nicodemus does not.
Well, Sporn
watch.
is over. Oh, you don't do any watch.
I sleep underneath of it.
Okay. All right. So no watch for Nicodemus. Sporn actually is watching the entire time. All right. So I'm going to ask. First of all, I'm going to ask Amrus to make a roll. Can you please roll 1d10?
Who roll again? Me?
Amrus.
Ah.
Okay. 2. All right. I'm going to make a roll here. Regan, will you roll 1d10 as well?
You got it.
Okay.
Don't know if that's a good or a bad one with the D10s.
Wow, this is going to be a challenge to set up. Gonna need 2 more rolls. The first will be a take watch roll from Amrys. When you're on watch and something approaches the camp, roll plus whiz. On a 10 plus, you're able to wake the camp and prepare a response. The camp takes +1 forward. On a 7 to 9, you react just a moment too late. The camp is awake but hasn't had time to prepare. You have weapons and armor and little else. On a miss, whatever lurks outside the campfire's light has the drop on you. So that is a 2d6 plus whiz.
Concern me. I rolled.
Let me look. Where does it say that about adding discern realities?
Under command.
Under command.
Yeah, you don't have a watch.
Watch.
No.
Why?
You know what though? This will count. We can say that your bird helps. So add its cunning.
Is it trained in guard?
Oh, that's true. It doesn't have guard, so no.
Trained in scout.
Yeah, so never mind.
Is there a perimeter or something? Is there like a fence of torches or something?
Basically there have been torches set up, and there's like kind of a barricade around the beach where the front end of the ship has been beached, and then there's an open hole in the side of the ship that's kind of the primary entrance now. Amrys rolled a 6. All right, you can mark XP for that, Amrys. Give me a watch roll as well, Regan.
Plus whiz, right?
Yep.
Oh god, we're both in the same boat.
Oh my goodness. The odds of this shit happening at the same time in 2 separate places.
Especially with
Okay.
our current wisdom.
Yeah, we're one of the wisest friggin' groups out there, and
So I just changed my XP to 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
No. Not get me this time. Yeah, escape.
Making one last check here. Oh boy.
should I roll my light spell? Because I'll probably have that on while I'm up at night, standing watch.
Go ahead. Gives me a moment to look here.
So Regan's going to lift his mace up and say a few words, and then it's going to suddenly, all the runes on it will
I
light
hate
up.
to warn you, Regan, but no one's there to see.
Oh, that's a good point, but he's sleeping. Well, hey, rolled perfect success on it, so.
Alright. So that's...
Warren just eyes you intently in the darkness. You see this one beady eye on you.
He'll just kind of catch, if he catches a glimpse of it, he'll just kind of smirk a little bit and continue keeping a vigilant watch.
He's just like a green goop blob of 2 or 3 tendril arms and a mushroom cap. Like a classic mushroom.
They might take a brief moment to examine him at some point.
Okay, I know what's happening. God help me, this is gonna be awkward. Amrys, you're on watch. It's the middle of the night, and the moon is high out in the sky. You're pretty busy with just kind of communicating with your owl, so to speak, trying to glean what it saw, its feelings. Perhaps you're thinking about the trip itself and the disaster that has befallen you. And even though you're kind of, you're out there looking, maybe your eyes are a little bit distracted by the beauty of the moonlit beach and the water. I don't know that you've ever been to an island before, but for some reason you're
No,
just
sorry,
not.
Throne.
So you're fairly distracted. At a couple points, you hear like during your watch, you hear just something against the wood. Like you think it's just waves. You look over at one point when it's particularly loud, and you look down into the darkness that's kind of lit by the torches that are occasionally refilled, and you just see shadows and water. There's notably one person down at the bottom of the ship, like out actually on the beach. One person at the what is now the beach entrance to the ship, and then there's one other person who is up top with you.
These enemies or
No,
the
these are the
crew
crew members. These are all people basically kind of taking their shifts on watch all night. During the night, you hear a couple of these noises, but you don't think any of it until you turn around. I guess you're stretching. You're thinking about actually going back inside to go to sleep, and you notice that the crew member who's supposed to be up top with you is no longer there.
Is he slumped with me, or?
No. To give you some more context about where you are, you're at the top of the front end of the ship. So there's a good deal of surface area, but you should be able to see him if he's up here, and he would have had a torch. There's nothing here.
I didn't splash.
No, the last you saw of him, he was at the rear end of the ship, like overlooking the water, sort of. I think he was looking out to the west, but that was a while ago, and you definitely didn't hear anything.
Probably would. I do make a point to look to see where the other that were on the beach and elsewhere.
You see one of the crew members, you can't see the one that's supposed to be like directly beneath you, kind of guarding the ramp entrance to the ship, but you can see the dark figure of the one that's on the beach. He seems to have leaned up against the ship, and you can't tell if he's just relaxing, if he's asleep, but he is just
Okay. I asked my owl to check on. See. Let's take a look.
Okay. So you look over, and the owl kind of flutters down there. It notices that the one on the ramp is indeed there. He's looking very tired. He's yawning. You get the feeling that like there is a person here.
And he's not dead.
Yeah. It kind of flutters down to the or flaps down to the bottom of the ramp where this guy's leaned up against the ship, and you get the immediate sense that something is wrong. It like looks quizzically, and then you see your owl do its puff maneuver, like it puffs up to become much more intimidating. It hops back, its feathers are ruffled, and it starts to jump away.
Okay. I immediately call my owl and while raising the alarm.
Yeah, so you shout like something like alarm or
Yes.
something like that.
Yes.
You hear a commotion from inside of the ship. Somebody like bangs their head on something and curses, and two people come charging out. Like one comes down from the ramp, looking about like with a sword, like like looking for attackers, basically not even paying attention to the guy leaning against the ship. And then the captain runs up to the forecastle where you are. What is it? What's going on?
Something below, Captain. Obviously terrifying to my friend here.
You hear
investigate.
You hear a scream from down below. At this point, Bunko, you are definitely awoken, and same with you, Linnaeus.
Is a scream from me or somebody else?
No, it's somebody outside of the ship.
All right. I grab my gear and I head out the door, making sure that because I hear the alarms and stuff, so being cautious but trying to be quick.
So, are you trying to go to the top of the ship where Amaris is supposed to be, or are you trying to leave the ship entirely?
No, to the top.
Okay. How about you, Looney?
I will run out of the ship.
All right, so you run out of the ship, scraggly beard and crazy-eyed, looking everywhere, like, what's going on? And you see one of the crew members being dragged beneath the ship. Something dark is wrapped around his legs. It you get the faintest glimpse of what looks to be seaweed, and his eyes filled with terror as he reaches out for you, and then he's dragged under the water, beneath the still submerged section of the ship. At the same time, we're going to switch over to the other camp. Regan, you're on watch. You've got your mace lit, and I think you're probably pacing about. And maybe you're a little concerned over what happened before, and maybe concerned's not the right word. Maybe you're a little ticked off or stressed out. The other three are all sleeping. The odd gelatinous thing is still staring at you. The entire time within the light of your mace, it seems like its eyes have never left you. It's a little creepy. It's just sitting on a branch nearby, or a log nearby. And as as you're pacing, you notice a glint in the jungle, just like a faint glint, and you turn back and it's gone. But you could have sworn you saw a glint or a pair of glints or something. Just as you are kind of squinting to look over, something strikes you from the side and knocks you down. With tremendous force. Let's see what this does. Yeah, so this it seems to be teeth and claws, and it is just it's all over you. It's digging into your skin. It's you look up and you see the bright, brilliant amber eyes of a great cat, and it's lowering its jaws towards your neck. What are you doing?
I'm going to try and see if I can use my mace and jam it kind of towards its jaws, so it at least blocks it from being able to bite me.
Does this sound like strength to you, or how are you? What do you feel this is?
It could be dex, maybe, or strength. So strength, I think, would probably be pretty decent.
Yeah, I don't know that, jamming it in there would be really too hard with the mace. It's holding him back. So I think this is a strength. So I think you're defying danger with strength.
I think that's probably the best option here. Let me see what happens. Close, but not quite.
Okay, so on a 9, let's see here. Defy danger on a 9. 7 to 9, you stumble, hesitate, or flinch. The GM will offer you a worse outcome, hard bargain, or ugly truth. You shove your mace at this thing's face, and you're like struggling to get it between you and its jaws, and in order to hold this thing back, you're flipping onto